What to expect from an EEG for epilepsy. Thought I'd share what an EEG is like and what to expect during one, since I had one conducted again recently. And what an EEG does is it tracks the brain's electrical activity from the electrodes attached to the scalp. So prior to, you can eat and drink like normal, and you're supposed to wash your hair the night before, so it's easier for them to attach the electrodes to your scalp. And obviously it's just nicer to work with a clean scalp, let's be real. So it's the right thing to do. And essentially you will end up looking like an alien. Even though you don't look at yourself with it, you can truly feel the alien coming through. And the total time of the test is 20 minutes, but obviously it takes a little bit longer than that because you need to get set up, they need to explain things to you. So you can expect to be there for about half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on how slow or fast things go, but when the tech actually gets you. So you get there, you lay down on the bed, and the tech has like the machine and computers beside the bed that obviously you can't see, but they sit down at the chair and they monitor this after they attach the electrodes and get all of that attached to your scalp. So after you lay down, that's when they attach the electrodes to your scalp. And then I forget which order it goes in, but at some point they put on like the swimmer's like cap onto your scalp so it feels very tight. And they do add a gel. I believe it like helps them either see things on the skin. I don't know what it's for exactly, but they add a water soluble gel as well to your scalp where the electrodes are. And there is some pinching involved. It is painful, but it's not unbearable, and it's quite brief. It's definitely doable. Then when you are set up and ready and fully looking like the alien we are, let's be real, the test will begin. They turn the lights off, the test will begin, and you open and close your eyes at their instruction. During the 20 minutes of this test, at some point, for 3 minutes, you have to do shallow breathing. So imagining as if you're out of breath already, but you're laying down flat, so you have to breathe like my nose is a bit plugged, so ignore how that sounded, but essentially you have to do shallow breathing for 3 minutes. That's probably one of the most uncomfortable parts about the whole thing, because you end up, or at least I end up, feeling very cold and like just dizzy out of it, because obviously you're laying there, you're not actually doing activity. And then to do that, it's weird for the body, but obviously it shows them information for the scan. And the last really uncomfortable part about this whole thing, that apparently is a newer thing because it's been many years since I've had an EEG done, but anyways, apparently this is a new thing where they actually bring strobing lights close to your face, and at their instruction you have to open and close your eyes, and apparently this gives them a lot more data and information to go off of. It was, again, my epilepsy isn't triggered from strobing lights, but like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't fun, but in my head I was just like, pretend you're at the club and like you're somewhere else, and you know, it was bearable. It's doable. So once that is done, 20 minutes have been completed, lights go back on, the tech will, you know, remove the equipment. My tech was really sweet, really kind, and you know, she tried her best to brush out the gel. She actually did a good job. She said it's water soluble, so it came out easily in the wash after too, so that was no issue. I personally felt dizzy and off for the rest of the day just because my appointment was so early in the morning, and it's just such a weird experience. And like the shallow breathing, the strobing lights, I think it's pretty normal to feel that way for the rest of the day, or at least for a few hours after. So I definitely felt off, but it was definitely doable. It is nothing to be afraid of. And in my opinion, in comparison to an MRI brain scan, that is way worse than an EEG. So do not be afraid of an EEG. For example, for the MRI, I need much more intense medication to even be able to do it because I become so claustrophobic. Not trying to scare anyone about that, but just being honest about my experience. So yeah, the EEG is truly nothing to be afraid of. It's more than doable. It's just some elements of it are of course not the most comfortable, but it is what it is. So in conclusion, that's essentially what an EEG is, what my experience was, and it truly is nothing to be afraid of. And if anything, it should be, you know, taken as a great step forward to get new information as to what's going on with you and more answers. So looking at it as more of a positive and exploratory thing versus like a negative and scary thing. You got this.